What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you after I fell down a couple times in the snow today. I'm over it, man. Listen, we struggled our way to HEB, and everybody and their mom was in there. So look, we're safe. We got power. We're good to go. Thank God I don't have to be one of the people that's out there working. HEB had nothing but teenagers working, so that was crazy. Now, for everybody in the show today, I hope you're ready for a jam-packed show. If you don't know who I am, my name is Erica Williams of the Classy Climb blog. I'm a six-figure YouTuber who has managed over $2 million in assets. And today, we are going to talk about zombie companies because I'm seeing all these ads telling you can buy old businesses. You know, there's business owners retiring all over the United States because they're boomers, which is true. But let me give you some of the background on why they're selling. And also, this is data you can find about zombie companies in the United States. Now, what is a zombie company? A zombie company is one that is just running off debt, but that's not clear enough, right? A zombie company, and I love using the Ozarks as an example because I think this is just an amazing show. The Ozarks show that's on Netflix, and you can see it online. They would go basically when people money launder, they would find businesses that have been there forever, but have a steady, consistent, been open for years, still making 10, 15K, nothing big, just steady and consistent that they could do what? Launder money through. Okay. And so the Ozark show was amazing because me and you all know places we've been to a bakery, a corner store, a little mom and pop cleaners, and you're like, how is this place still open? Right? And put a 1 in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been to a store or a shop or a restaurant and you're trying to figure out how is this place still open? And I'm going to give you an example and really tell you, really, it's zombie businesses. They usually are run by a lot of debt. Now, if you could help me out by putting your city and state in the chat, but tell me if you've ever been by a little shop or bodega or a corner store and you're like, how is that place open? Now, zombie debt is something that is just the best way to clarify for you guys. You know, mom and pop shop, it's always been open. They've always made a little bit of money and you're trying to figure out how they stay open. It's credit. Right now in the United States, before 2005, between 2005 and 2019, we had 2.5% of businesses out there that were zombies. So out of the 31 million businesses out there in America where they say, well, 24 million are just one owner, 2.5% were zombie companies. Now, what is a zombie? Zombie is, it costs you $100,000 to run the store, right? The store, the food, the employees, it costs you $100,000. You have a $100,000 credit card and you just keep that credit card basically takes care of the store all year, but the store barely makes enough money to do what? Go up or go down, hire more people or be even busier. You ever go to a hole in the wall soul food place and it's real busy and then they always running out of stuff, right? Because they're not making enough money to cut growth and actually grow the company, put numbers up, but a lot of them are zombie companies. Okay. Now, between before that, we had 2.5% that were zombie companies. Between 2005 and 2019, 16% of companies are zombie companies. And this is according to IRS, right? This is IRS paying attention to their data, their books, their debt, corporate debt going up. Now, in the pandemic, which was 2020, it went to 19% of all businesses were zombie businesses. Now, what does that mean? That means a lot of the companies you see, right, that, they don't look that busy, but they're still open, right? There's a dance studio I see, and the owner's really old and just loves the dance studio, and they just literally have one of their daughters at the front desk like, hey, how you doing? Now, I'm going to talk about one of my friends that's old in the past. Long story short, his mom had a flea market store in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And every weekend they'd be there and there's money going in and out the flea market store, but they never seemed really busy. But the mom had over $1 million in lines of credit via American Express, via the bank, via all this stuff. So really, it didn't matter what the store did. She just was always rotating the debt, right? The store didn't make $1 million for sure. It made close to probably $100,000, something like that. But as he got older, she just came to him and said, hey, We're going to start putting you as an authorized user so we can start building your lines of credit. He was a little bit apprehensive because he wanted to go in the military. She's half Korean, half black. He is. And he was like, why, mom? He's like, listen to me. This is what we're going to do. So long and the story short, before he knew it, he had over $300,000 in brand new debt as a 19-year-old before he's about to go in the military. And she made him give her the credit cards. She's like, look, I'm going to write you a payroll. I'm going to get you a car, and here you go. Okay. And he's like, you're taking my credit cards? No, these are mine. She's like, no, they're ours for our company. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, I made another LLC. You are now part owner of this flea market store. He's like, I don't care. I want the cards. She's like, no, you're not getting the cards back. Now he's 19. You got a Korean mom. She'll chop you in the neck. They're pretty strong. And so he went on, joined the military, did his business. She never was late with a payment. She never used a line of credit before telling him. He never contradicted her. He even got stationed overseas in Korea, saw his other family. He got stationed in Germany after that. When he came back, she had gotten additional credit with his name, and he was at $600,000. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, how can they do that off of one little cheap store? Like, how is that possible? And it's possible because that business only makes a certain amount. It caps every year. It only made 100 grand or so, right? And the mom would show up in her Mercedes Benz to the flea market and sit and stand and smile and hi. And then when one of his cousins needed a job, they put him there and he'd sit there and wave and smile. And a lot of businesses you see, they only are making a little bit of money. It's the lines of credit that the person has that's keeping those companies afloat, right? Taking those lines of credit, that family now, if people know who I'm talking about, that family now is invested in multiple real estate deals in that area, multiple other little side businesses, a car wash, a laundromat, but it comes out of that zombie business because of the lines of credit. And I wish I could do this on a bigger scale and talk about a lot of big Wall Street related companies, kind of like your GameStop that was basically dead. It still has millions of dollars coming in out the door every year, but its books have been negative 2 years in a row. But it's not dead yet. It'll be dead in probably like 5 to 10 years, but there's no need to force kill it like they were trying to short on Wall Street and short the company down to zero. You don't have to do that, right? Because same thing with Toys R Us. Toys R Us was making $500 million a year, but their loan payments were $400,000, $400 million. I think at the end of the day, it's $400 million or something to that effect. So they only had enough budget to keep the staff working, keep the lights on, and they couldn't, what did Toys R Us need to do? Go online. They needed to have access to people to pick up toys online, buy toys online, ship them anywhere, but they didn't have enough money in that margin, that little space there, to invest in a whole online platform. Right now, if for a few years, I don't know if it's still now, but Borders.com, like remember when Borders books closed? Borders Online still was online, right? A lot of the half-price book exchange places are still online because there's warehouses full of books that they're just moving around. So you may say, well, that company's dead, Erica. No, that company is technically a zombie company, and they still bring value on paper. Prime example, Ty Lopez bought Linens and Things, Dress Barn, Models, a couple other places that were zombie businesses that people were like, oh, they went out of business. No, there's still credit. There's still things moving and being purchased at certain locations for, I think, Dress Barn. But at the end of the day, they're technically zombie businesses. Okay. Now that I've clarified that to y'all, and if everybody kind of understands what a zombie business is or no example of zombie business, put a yes in the comments so we can kind of all move on to the next part of this. Why do people want to sell you their business? And why they can't, right? I've gone and talked to maybe 22 businesses that I wanted to purchase last year and the year before. And people are like, well, why are you buying businesses, Erica? Don't you have your own business? Yes, I do. But in order for a lot of people, what they don't understand, in order for you to get to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 10 million, everybody doesn't have an online business that can actually go to that number. So what you end up doing is taking the money from the main business and investing it in other businesses. And so for me, I would go out and I would look over people's books. I look over gas stations. I look over parking lot. Prime example, self storage. Right? It's never going to grow crazy big. But here's the thing: having that business on paper, having a $500,000 or $1 million business on paper, and if your credit is nice and clean, and you start going to banks, you start getting those loans. Right? Long as the business stays steady, there's no crazy debt, you don't have any crazy emergent cash advances, you'll be fine. And that's why people want to buy those businesses, right? Because it's just like this. And let's be really honest, I've been in this place that makes donuts. They can't be making a ton of money. I rarely see the owner. It's always some young teenagers in there, and they make the donuts. They open from 5 a.m. and closed at, I think, 2 o'clock in Pflugerville. Well, I finally looked at the owner and I was like, oh, that's a really nice place you got. How many more of these do you got? He started laughing. He's like, oh, no, I own a nail salon down the street over there, the nail place. I was like, oh, because he's Vietnamese. And then I talked to him a little bit more. He's like, I'm trying to buy this coffee place down the street. Now, of course, I drive by the coffee place. Coffee place looks dead, super dead. But what is the thing that makes that coffee place stand out in the middle of nowhere is it has a drive-through. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, why would he buy half-dead businesses? Well, that's where the value add is, right? But where it goes funny and why these businesses want to sell for so much, because you'll go to a business, you'll be like, this business only makes $50K a year, $500,000 a year, $100,000 a year. You're not really making anything. It's because the owners have all that debt. Those owners have a bunch of credit cards that they use in rotation. Now, I'm going to talk about the PPP real quick and talk about why you see people so hungry for the PPP, right? Because some people have businesses that only made $100,000, but 2020 came through and broke their legs. Okay. What do I mean broke their legs? Their housing, their kids' housing, their school, college, healthcare, everything. So that business that's always made $75,000, $100,000, not a lot of money, that wasn't enough last year. Those people needed more. So now they're willing to entertain selling it to you because even though it may be a good thing for a 1 man, 1 woman, 2 people thing or a 3-person show, they might be ready just to move on. They're tired of doing the same old, right? But here's the kicker. If they have a bunch of personal debt that's really not like a company credit card or a business line of credit, they need you to cash them out. Does that make sense? So a business you may see and be like, oh, that business is only worth $200,000. You don't make that much a year. They need $500,000. They need 1 million because they have all these business credit cards. They have all these things on the side that they've lined up. Okay. Listen, I'm just breaking it down to you, some of the conversations I've had with people. And it's not even robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's really the fact of, I'll put it to you this way. If you go to an office in January and your office bill for the year is $24,000, right? Your light bill's this much, your payroll's this much, and it's $100,000. And you just go ahead and pay your rent up for the year. And you go ahead and pay your insurance up for the year. And you put your staff money off to the side just so you ain't got to worry about it. And then the business just runs. Slow, quiet, patiently runs. Nothing too big, nothing too small. That person could do that with a credit card at the beginning of the year. And then what are they going to do with that credit card? Have all those points, right? And then they take that same credit card, and unless the business makes money, they pay the credit card off. And you guys may think this is crazy, but I see this every day in people's documents and consulting calls all the time, where they'll take the big credit card, right? What's up, recycling guy? They'll take the big credit card and they'll pay something off, pay everything off for the year. And then as business income comes in, boom, they pay it off. So this is something you'll see more of. The fact that we have 19% of businesses are now in the pandemic, trust me, there's going to be people wanting to sell. And I was going to share my screen and show buybizsell.com just to kind of give you some ideals of what I'm talking about, because I know this topic is kind of heavy top, but I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are smart enough to figure it out, right? That's why you see credit repair companies always popping up. That's always like a new life into a business kind of thing. And that's why it's so important when it comes to credit. Once you get your foot in the door, you got to realize, once you get your foot in the door on credit and getting a business started, that person, once they buy the house they want, they buy the car they want, They set up the vacations every year for their family. They don't care. That's why you see people all the time with really bad credit where you're like, but they're a millionaire. And people think I'm joking. There's millionaires with no credit, zero, nothing, no credit, because they have no lines of credit, right? And then sometimes I'll meet millionaires who have 580s because they don't care. They don't care. They don't have to. If the business is making certain money and they've already got the credit cards, right? They can keep this going for years. And this is why we call Japan's the lost decade. I put it in the community tab for y'all to see, but I hope y'all have been out there enough to notice what zombie businesses I'm talking about, right? Have you ever been to a coffee shop or a bakery or a little small hole in the wall or watched the show Ozarks? If you guys have watched the show Ozarks in there, put OZ in the chat, because it's a prime example where if something's steady Eddie, you can buy it. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen so you guys can see the buybizsell.com. See if it'll let me share my screen. And tomorrow I'll do a show talking about Texas, how we're going to recover from the storm, how things are going to change. But for now, I'm going to do this show. Mattress Firm. Thank you. Mattressfirm.com everywhere. Mattress Firm is prime example of a zombie business. And honestly, Mattress Firm is actually a prime example of they've already had a season 3 of Ozark. I thought they were waiting on season 4, which is the last one. Mattress Firm has already been proven to be a money laundering place for a Brazilian businessman in Brazil. If you haven't read those articles, go look it up. Yeah, they've seen Ozark? Good. Okay. If you guys seen Ozark, you know what it is. My Cash App is right there on the screen. It's SW Investment. Thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate every penny, every dollar, every dime. It makes the show great. Makes me, let me see. Thank you, Kay Coaching, dropping by to get the info. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, this is, a book, a used bookstore, right? So there's a coffee shop here in Austin off 620. I love it. It's been sold 4 times in the past 4 years, right? And the first owner bought it. He sold it to the second owner. And then the second owner sold it to the third. The third owner was like, I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to make payments. Why? Because the business is very slow. There's only so much you're going to make every day. There's only so much payroll every day. There's going to be so much stuff. But the new owners are Indian. And his new wife came over from the country, you could tell. And she comes in there sometime. And they own a chocolate cake store. They own that store. And they own a like a laundromat, like a small old laundromat. And that's all they're doing. They're buying these half-dead businesses that are steady and boring. And the reason they can do that is because young people are impatient. We want to buy something flashy, new, shiny. We want a credit repair business. We want a YouTube business. And what ends up happening is people don't, you wrong. It'll be 72 degrees here Tuesday. What happens is people overlook how people make money. So when you see somebody with a business that's been very steady but slow for 5 to 10 years, honey, they're a zombie, and they can stay that way for another 10 years. If the mom and dad or mom and pop or the children of the business want to keep going to the business. Several friends of mine family and friends have insurance offices. Son and daughter have a job forever if they want it. Oh, for sure. That's right, Pro Style. That's usually what's happening. Let me see. And this is the Cash App. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Let me see here. Let me share if I can share the channel. Share the screen. Will it let me? Yeah. Okay. Oh, real quick, a note from our sponsor.
Hi, my name is Annette Worth, and I've been able to teach over 200 students, beginners, how to get started investing in the stock market. My first course, Stock Market Course for Beginners, easily teaches you how to read a stock chart so you know when to purchase a stock on sale. My second course is How to Build a Winning Watch List. This is how you know which company you should be investing in, what makes up a good company. You'll be able to read a stock chart, know when to purchase a stock, and know which companies to pick. Investing in the stock market isn't hard. We just wasn't taught about it in school. The hardest part about building wealth is just getting started. Are you ready to start today? Click the link in the bio or go to theNextWork.com to enroll today. Let's get it.
All right. All right, let's do it. Okay. All right, Bob Sell. Can y'all see the screen? Put a 1 in the comments if you can see the screen. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dunya Anderson, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. For the YouTube channel, Financial Shift with Dunn. Thank you, Financial Shift with Dunn, for supporting the channel. All right. Now we're over here. I've seen my favorite NYC empanada spot under 3 owners over the last 2 years and turned the location to empanada Chinese food, Peruvian food, powered by DoorDash. Yeah, see, that's somebody, Mr. G, who's trying to push up the valuation of the place. I can tell you right now, there's so many times when I've tried to look at something I could buy, and if you can't push up the valuation of the place, I mean, it's crazy because it's like, do you have that time, 4, 5, 6 years to just sit on a slow, steady business? That's what a lot of people do have time for because they have adult children that need a job. I've seen that more times than y'all know, where, hey, my son needs to stay on and train you. Well, your son don't really run this business. You do. Okay. So already let's look at some of these. Prime example, passive business with 12.8% cap in 2020, Dallas. Hopefully y'all can see the screen. It says $90,000, cash flow $11,000. Now you're gonna say $11,000, that ain't enough money, Erica. But I'm just giving you examples of stuff you'll see out here. Let me go back to the search. Go over here. Let me go down here. Oops, quit it. We're not logging in. Booming pool and outdoor living for sale, Frisco, Texas. Now this person wants to sell you this for $1.25 million. Now I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I know y'all think I'm gonna be dramatic. You can start a solar power business this year and make $1 million. I know people right now who don't even have their staffing stuff straight out in Houston, Texas. And really, it's the combination of knocking doors. The number one business in Texas right now, before this storm and all last year, was what? Pools and outdoor living, but mostly pools. Putting pools in people's backyards. So why would a person who has a thriving pool business in the middle of a stuck-at-home COVID want to sell their pool business? Right? Why would they want to sell it? Right? And so these are things you have to ask yourself when you're talking to people. Like, you always ask them what's their motivation, why do they want to sell? These are important questions you need to ask, because do I get employees with this? Right? So I'm gonna click on it just to kind of, right? So it's up here. Right? In Frisco, if you know anything about Frisco, does anybody know anything about Dallas, Frisco, Texas? Anybody know anything about it? This is the fastest growing area in Dallas. It's a Dallas suburb. It's not even in Dallas, but like literally money over money. These are $1 million homes that I've shown you guys on multiple videos. Now, this person wants to sell it to you for $1.2 million. His gross revenue at the end of the year, if everything's said and done, is $197,000. He was established in 2017. You know what this is? This is a guy who started it up, hustled it up, and guess what? He's like, I'm over it. He's got his 3 years in. He probably wants to go do something else shiny or stay out from outside. Now, of course, he has over $1 million in active contracts. He has 7 employees. Now, listen to this. I want y'all to understand this. We operate from home, but the business would probably double with the storefront. I'm stuck in self-employment bracket, but this business needs to be a corporation with strong management and willingness to grow. Business is booming, but we can't keep up with demand. We do 25 to 30 jobs a year with an average contract of $75,000. With the boom that is happening here, the numbers can easily increase to 75 to 100 projects a year with no slowdown in sight. Now, he will do 6 months of training with unlimited support for 2 years. Now, if somebody's willing to support you for 2 years, what are they also willing to do? Take payments. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead. Elite Pools and landscaping.com. All right, everybody. So don't you see that? Now, I'm going to tell you probably a couple of things are happening. Stressed out at home, exhausted, wife, kiddos, tired, just don't know how to take a business. And this is a real thing. This happened to me. This happened to several friends of mine. I had to spend like almost $80,000 in just training me, my mindset, myself, and how to put systems and businesses in place. This year, it's no lie, it's no shade on anybody, but I'm spending about $30,000 in 2 or 3 different masterminds this year because the people in there know how to get $1 million loans from the bank. Yeah, I can get $200,000 and $300,000 loans, but they know how to get $1 million loans, and they just swim in circles where that's what people are doing. They swim in circles that people do real estate deals, big real estate deals every year, right? And so, in order to grow, in order to kind of move your money over, because there's only so much. And even though you see all these YouTube people like, yeah, just keep growing your YouTube, man. Just make millions of dollars off YouTube forever. I'm sorry. You eventually have to put that money somewhere. So, nothing rides forever. You can come out here and do this forever if you want to, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. Now, what is the first thing you would need to do for this pool business? Put in the chat, you guys. Okay, first thing y'all said is best deals never make it to the internet. Peanut butter hero. Bing, bing, bing. You always want to buy a business that's not for sale. And I know this sounds silly, but what ends up happening is if you notice anything in the Ozarks show, he was going around calling all those people and they were like, why are you calling me? Right? It's little nowhere places, right? Because that's the business you want to buy. Because let me put it to you very honestly. I know several business owners that I've talked to in the past 2-3 years who they make $1 million on paper, but they kind of walk away and go home with maybe $100,000. And because they've been doing business for so long, they've already paid off their houses, they've already paid off their cars. They just like showing up to work for something they built. So a lot of times when you see these zombie businesses, it's really just them kind of keeping it afloat. There's no real need to grow it more or make more income. Sway, a lot of immigrants will invest and buy those businesses that their lack of English isn't needed or expected. The more complex the business, the less likely they will own. Right. Frisco, yes. Where the money reside, where the money reside. For real, I'm serious. You'd like to buy my barbershop? Man, the number one place that, let me tell you the little lick, G. Logan, that was with barbershops. Back in the day, and this has been proven through lawsuits and corporate documents you can write. You can go Google all this I'm saying. They kept complaining that a lot of the SBA and business bureaus would not give loans to unique Black businesses. So a lot of Black people would come in and say, hey, I'm going to build a barbershop. I'm going to build a hair salon. And they would borrow the business contract from another Black person. They get the hair salon and then immediately start draining all the income from the barbershop and the hair salon to what? Their real business ideal they wanted to do. That's why when you meet so many barbershop owners, they have a restaurant, they have a car wash, they have this other stuff, because really the barbershop really wasn't what they wanted. Barbershop is what they could get the loan approved for. And that's why you see so many hair salons that, to me, be looking half dead and you don't know why it's still open. Well, that's where the SBA gave the money. And the SBA has been sued, and this has been documentation. Y'all can go Google this all on your own today, that they kept being biased and giving out all these loans for barbershops. Same thing when it came to trucking. When I would get on the phone, people were like, who are you getting this for? Who's your husband? Who's your brother, your cousin, your whoever? And it was disrespectful in my opinion, but they have already built that into the loan system that they think you're getting it for somebody else because I don't fit the stereotype of truck owner or truck fleet owner. I'm a woman. I'm not married. Who are you getting this for? Right? Who are you running this business through? Even today when I was working with getting foreign drivers, they're like, hey, the process will take a year. And, it depends on if the government says you're good. I said, well, sir, all our other trucks are leased under companies for a year. So I got a year. I can be patient. Oh, really? Yeah, really. Well, it's $20,000. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Let's get the process started. They were shocked. They were absolutely shocked. They were like, well, the minimum number is 4. I was like, okay, that's fine. And so what you have to understand is a lot of things have been built into certain certain things to kind of keep you out. But exactly, right? So again, unless you own the building with the barbershop, that's really good. Light Divine, that's the thing. Light Divine. Just because you have an unsecured line of credit of $1 million doesn't mean you actually use all of it. That's the whole thing I'm trying to get y'all to understand. If the business owner makes 100,000 or 200,000 every single year, it's not hard for them to get multiple credit cards that they just have lines of credit with, and they just rotate. That's all. Like, I'm just trying to get y'all to understand. People don't even use all these lines of credit. They don't. So anyway, but again, it depends on your relationship with debt. When buying a business, make the seller have some kind of skin in the game for at least a short duration, for sure. And you have to be very careful that a lot of these people buy it, and how people buy it, and once you give the owner the money, they're kind of gone. But you got to make sure it's not like the several people we know in Fayetteville who are AC owners, plumbing business owners, and Mr. Perez went home, but people have Mr. Perez's cell phone number, and they don't care who the new owners are. They're gonna call Mr. Perez. They want him to come to their house. This man's 82, still doing people's plumbing, and he's already sold his business to younger men. Right? We have a guy who has an AC business, and him and his son run it, and people still call him, and he be like, "Y'all, he's got a cane, and he crawls under their houses, and he puts the cane down and crawls under your house." But people love him. The son's still good too, but they love him. And he always jokes that he married a young woman, which she's like 36, and had a bunch of kids all of a sudden on him. And he said, I got to keep working because I got that young thing. And we just laugh. But certain businesses can go on forever. It's just when you see business owners that struggle financially, it's because they haven't put the credit part to the business. That's all. What's going on, Janice? How you doing? I fell a couple times. I have heat and I have hot water. I don't want to be funny. I will put it to you this way: where I'm at in Austin, Texas, I'm like literally a stone's throw from a bunch of tech buildings and a bunch of commercial buildings. So I have heat and have power, and so I feel really bad for parts of people that are about 2 miles up ahead of me in parts of Pflugerville, maybe like 4 miles ahead of me in that meet, and they're all in Pflugerville. They don't have power. I went to buy my office. My office has power. And I'm actually concerned the neighborhood behind me doesn't have power from my office. I'm like, that's crazy. But my office was nice and warm. I busted my butt twice, and I was like, that's enough for me. I'm going up out of here. So, no, I'm not dispatching any of my drivers. I partnered with some dispatchers. They're doing a combination of pulling cash off cards. They're using the cards, getting fees and points. They're paying up their lease for a year. Like, I know this one Italian family. I swear that Italian restaurant was either a front for the mob or something, because they were always half empty. But the like 70-year-old grandma was in there still cooking every day. And I remember the son kind of telling me, "Oh yeah, my dad pays up the rent for 5 years at a time. That's why they can't do rent increases on him." And I'm like, they don't own this building? It was crazy. Here you go. Appliance boot camp. Ice cream parlor costs less than $15K to start. You will net $200 to $400 a day in off season and $1,000 a day. I think that's what you're saying. During season, it's not sexy and boring, but it's steady cash flow. This is absolutely true. I don't know if you remember, but there was like a time where it was like all these frozen yogurt places were popping up everywhere. That was that. Does Texas need plumbers? Yes. Right now Texas is going to, like, there's plumbers who are on a 2-week wait. Like, we had DJ Money on the show the other day. He was like, hey, he called over like, I think 75 plumbers. And a lot of people were like, nope, sorry, dude. I'm not gonna be able to see you for the next 4 days. Like, hey, I've got water in my kitchen. I'm so sorry. I'm literally 4 days out, right? There's some people that are 2 weeks out. They're already booked up for weeks. So if you're a plumber and you got sense and you got your next insurance, if I were you, I'd come to Texas with a toolkit and a truck. I just got a phone with Asia trying to tell her she might as well come on down here, but it's you gotta let people make their own decisions. Austin short on plumbers, everywhere short on plumbers, everywhere. Okay, let me go ahead and show y'all some more. All right, another business. Let's go to another one. Okay, let's go here. Um, a portable home-based stone cleaning and sealing business. Their cash flow is $500,000 a year. Hampton Inns and Suites online auction on the 23rd of March, 2.3 million. Ain't nothing going on in that part of Texas though. Weatherford Global. Now this one actually entices me because I'm gonna say this, and this may sound disrespectful, but when it comes to warehouses, you will always find men to work a warehouse, and they will always work for a low price. I'm sorry, this sounds terrible, but this is just true. Um, Again, global hardware wholesale distributor in Weatherford, Texas. Might send this to my friend Andrew Bryant. Let me see if he's interested in this. His family's the big dogs in that town, so they may be interested in that. Anyway, asking price is $2 million. Cash flow is $190,000. Their EBITDA is $50,000. So what is it? EBITDA is earnings before tax. Da 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 da. Right. So I'm gonna click on it just to earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So on paper, these people make 2.9 million a year. But when all is said and done, when they finish their taxes, they say they only make 50K. I want you to understand that. Does everybody understand that? After everything's said and done, oh, we only make $50,000 all year long. So I'm going to tell you right now, when your EBITDA is this, I'm going to tell you right now from personal experience and buying a business, no bank wants to touch you because they're going to go, why in the heck are you buying this place? So then you've got to tell them, hey, it's all this supplies and the building and then staff. You got to come up with all kind of hoops and ladders to explain why you're buying this, because that's just how it is. And here is the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that will remain with the business, such as desks, offices, cubicles, decor elements, restaurant, anything you think of inside. And that's $200,000 worth of equipment. Now, inventory is $500,000, almost $600,000 in inventory. The rent is $6,660 a month. That's so odd. Established in 1995. So now this business has been established forever. That might help you with some credit, but we got to figure out why they want to sell. 1995. How many years ago is that? That's what, 30? I don't know. Hold on, let's check before I misquote myself. That's 25 years. So this business is going for 25 years, and this company has consistently generated over 3.7 million to 6.4 million in between 300K to 650K, which is sellers' discretionary earnings over the past several years. So this guy's been like kicking off 300, 600K in Weatherford, which is like nowhere outside of Dallas. They've been living a good life. Okay. It says COVID's been limiting their customers, but they still brought in a lot of money essentially. I'm wondering if they really lease the real estate or they own the building and they lie on the yaw and you basically lease them from them. That would be funny. Their lease expires this year, weirdly enough. 13 employees. And guess what? All those they're selling because of health issues and the change of pace. Yeah. Yeah. Probably driving up to the store in their Jaguar, like, yeah, I'm so tired. Let me see. Capricorn, I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, what do you say here? Yeah, we heard that. We ain't worried about that mayor. That's why he resigned, because he's silly. How about making a real estate note buying business with business credit? Yeah, I mean, everything that you're thinking, Dwayne Douglas, there's somebody out there doing it. Carpet cleaning, look at the Truman Steamers in Georgia, right? Capricorn way, hey, men like warehouses. They like easy work. Okay, many moons ago says, I have a question. I know an Asian guy who owns a liquor store. It never seems busy. He has a Bitcoin investment. Is he possibly a zombie business? Oh, for sure. I mean, but here's the thing. Liquor, if it's about to storm outside, it's about to be like, just like when I went by the liquor store, they had police cars parked by it, y'all. They not playing with y'all out here in Texas. You're not going to rob this liquor store. Like, they ain't protecting nobody home, but they got a whole police car parked by a liquor store. It's crazy. So liquor stores do make money, and even when they don't, the inventory is like, you know how there's inventory that goes down in value. Liquor inventory don't go down. So it's just one of those things. What other questions do y'all have? Let me see. Let me see. Um, where do you typically go for financing? Let me tell you, the number one thing in financing business is seller financing. Even when owners like they hate it because of what they don't want somebody to come and try to buy the business and then try to put a bunch of loans and leverage against it. But that's your number one financing is if you can get the owner to do that. But this is why I'm telling you about zombie businesses, because so many people, they want to cash out a little bit. And that's really what it's about. They want to take a little bit of cash and go out the door and close out some of these cards, credit cards and lines of credit. There's plenty of hair product businesses out there. You can start that. That's fine. I don't think anything of it. If you want me to do if you guys are looking for me to give you some detailed answer, super chat it, and I'll pay attention. This is crazy. So this one right here is a patented rotating tower display. So either did they get it patent? They did. They're asking you for 1.7 million. Now this thing gross revenue is 360, right? And it cash flows 300,000. That's interesting. So they're probably the thing you need to worry about this business is how do you get a contract, right? For how do you get a contract for this at a dealership for a dealership to pay you? They're making 360. That means the dealership pays them 30,000 a month to have this up there. Yeah, that would be, to me, you got to find a big dealership that would be willing to pay that price. That's the only issue with that one. Why do they want to sell it? That's always going to be. Oh, this is up my alley. Auto and fleet repair, Dallas downtown, right? They're easy. The only problem you're going to have is finding the guys to work the system. Great Austin pool route. It's a pool route. They're selling it to you for 125. Cash flow every year, 100,000, right? So that means how many young people you got to get to work it? Retail space in Houston for sale. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see if anything else we see. A fencing business. Y'all, this is why I laugh about this. If you're in my Middleman to Millions class, we've talked about this. Me and my friend started a freaking fencing business with literally a home advisor and starting stuff from scratch. Now, this is what it is. People don't like starting from scratch. People don't like starting from the bottom. Now you're here kind of thing. They're like, oh, that's too much work, Erica. They want existing customers, existing staff. You're going to pay $600,000 for a guy who is making, and this is past year performance. It doesn't mean you're going to make it this year, $1.5 million in his business, right? He made that last year. And his EBITDA is $322,000, which is really good. And that's really great earnings and that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. That's a really good income. You can actually get approved for a lot of loans with that. But he's bringing you probably 184,000 of equipment and stuff. Okay, that's not too bad. But basically, he's had a fencing company since 2005. He's probably just tired of it because they make a ton of work. Anyway, real estate, 60K. I wonder if you get an office. What kind of office do you get with this? This might be interesting. Let's see. Included in asking price inventory. Real estate is owned, included in asking price. So you're getting a building. Okay. I mean, that's really the big key. You have 3 employees, you guys. Yeah. This business is home base. He's leaving the business to pursue his passions and legal investigations. Will provide a transitional period of 2 months at no cost. Additional assistance beyond 2 months will be provided at a consulting base. There are expansion opportunities for the new owner as well as, So the facility they have is a 1/2 acre yard with a shop and metal awning. It's home based. So it sounds like there's a home with it. I don't know if I want that, but that's actually pretty good. I mean, he's basically had a cash cow for a while. I mean, you got the money, honey. That's pretty good. So let me go back to search. See if I can find you some gas stations, you guys. And of course, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, Erica, why would anybody buy this? Easy. You run into people all the time, lawyers, accountants, people that stack up money. They'll buy these businesses as long as someone else can manage it. Because managing it, where's the headaches at? Let's see. El Paso. Oh God, I would never be in El Paso. Rather shoot my toe off. High performing karate school. Families go to karate schools for the teacher, not for their kids. They gotta like you. That just is what it is. Extremely profitable online e-commerce. They want to sell it to you for $30,000, and the cash flow is $3,000 a month. So this is, let's see here. Somebody's trying to sell you that their gross revenue was $74,000, and their cash flow was $3,000 monthly. Okay, a month. Okay. You literally can have it on autopilot and spend less than 5 hours a week managing the store. Yep, it's one of those little online businesses. That's what it is. You're selling a bunch of silly lights. Basically, an Amazon FBA store, so it sounds like. All right, let's see. You get to use the email list, email marketing, basically a VA. All this stuff can be done with a VA. It's a home-based business. Seller owns 2 other businesses profiting 5 figures a month they'd like to focus on. That makes sense. Where are these guys at? They're near Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah, that could be reasonably believed. Seller financing available for $30,000. Y'all, I might jump on this. Hold on. Who can I put at my office to run that? And you may say, Erica, for $3,000, that ain't no money. But y'all, if you have a VA that can handle this for $100 a week, what's $400 a month? 400 a month times 12 months is $5,000 a year. Come on, man. You ain't really losing out on anything. May put a little note to myself on that one. Little note to self on that one. We will be back, sir. How much you want for seller financing? I bet you money they want $15,000. Just the down payment. Look at this. Profitable franchise painting business in Denton. There's a bunch of college students in Denton. Super easy. Pest control. Lean kitchen company. Again, small restaurant, ice cream, or coffee shop for sale. I would make it a bobo shop. I bet you money that's probably what it was before. A day spa. A hot corner. Convenient and gas station. I don't know. I don't even know, because some of them areas is rough. Online store for sale at best price, everything included. Let's see what else. Let's put gas stations in here. Let's get gas stations. Industry. Where we go? Where can I get here? Gas station? Can I do it like this? Yeah, there we go. Show me some gas stations. All right. $500,000 place. 3.3 million in Dallas. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Let's see what else. More real estate. Okay. Look at this one. A gas C&K for $50,000. Now I'm already like, what am I getting with this store? Am I getting shot in the leg on my way to? Asking price is $49,000. Inventory is $35,000. Rent is $3,000 a month. Let's see. Located in a busy part of Houston, just off the freeway. Call for monthly sales and rent. Store has a lot of potential. Household refreshment, yada, yada, yada. Lease expires 2038. Good gracious. Client has multiple stores. This store must be doing bad, or he just doesn't like the environment. What's y'all thoughts on that store? All right. Let me see what y'all. Oh, man. Okay. The site is called Biz Buy Sell. Every dollar does count. So there's 248 people here. Put a 1 in the comments if you guys like the commentary so far. I've been here almost an hour. Is there any other businesses other questions you guys have about zombie businesses or what things are happening or how to buy businesses or whatnot, let me know. But I do want to say this. There's no guarantees when it comes to starting businesses. I know a lot of people want guarantees and there just aren't any guarantees. I was talking to somebody, I talked about 4 people the other day who were like, yeah, if I spend $100 in advertising, can I make $1,000 a month? And I'm like, dude, I know people who spend $3,000 a month and make $30,000 a month. That's 10x. So just because the rule of thumb is times 3 doesn't mean it's going to be times 3. And you can't treat it like the lottery. Like I better be guaranteed to win and guaranteed to make money. And that's just not how it goes. Hey, Corey Reynolds said, thanks for giving a free ride to 20% class today. I mean, I just basically want to break it down a little bit because I think, right now, what you're going to see next year, especially with the PPP, you got people who have companies that maybe make 50 to 60K a year. Not a ton. Not a ton. But what they're going to do is get that PPP for $150,000. And I'm going to just put it to you like this. I was looking over the records of people who got the PPP. There are some companies that have 10 companies with the same exact name, right? And so every one of the companies got 150. So if you had 10 companies, the same one owner, like you just read here, imagine one business owner that owns all of them, and he literally got 150,000 for every single business. That's 1.5 million. He could sit back and do nothing for the next 10 years and it won't matter. Only thing he'd have to worry about is taxes. That's really it. And there's so many things you can buy to appreciate taxes and park money places. But yeah, you're not going to really, the reason I keep telling y'all banks are dying and stuff with banks are so bad is because the bank is trying to loan off 1990 standards, off 2002 standards before economic crashes. There's never going to be anybody with blemish-free credit unless they're 19 to 21 years old, which we've seen a lot of that, where you see all these guys with Lambo credit cards and buying up a bunch of points and going over to Thailand and stay for years at a time. It's rare to get credit that doesn't have anything on it. And so what people are going to do is you're going to see with this pandemic, and I have a strong feeling you're going to have a third and fourth PPP. They're going to, as long as they have employees on paper and the employees show up to work and they pay stubs and they got family they take care of, these people will be zombie companies for 10, 20 years. I've seen it. I've personally seen people, mom and dad have their son getting paid 30K. Like we brought on DJ Money the other day talking about you can pay your kids 12 to 30 grand a year. And a lot of stuff is deductible on taxes. But I know grown adults who are literally on their parents' payroll, been on there for years. So that's just is what it is. Financial shift with Dunn. If I do it inside a Lambo. So Dunn, what I've learned and realized is some of the best stuff on the internet, you have to sprinkle a little sugar on it. You got to sprinkle a little sugar on it. This summer when I'm out, because I have a couple months here where I'm going to be on vacation and we're only going to do like Freedom Fridays. And I know I've said that 3 years in a row, but this year we actually are going to do it. We're just going to have a lot of pre-recorded videos. But you'll see me. The name of the website is Biz Buy Sell, bro. You don't see that at the top of that website right there. You got to put them glasses on, baby. Quincy, you don't have, if you have 10 businesses and they all have staff and they all have employees, you're not lying. Like even today, our bank just sent out a thing like, hey, if your business has been affected by the damages, you can get $5,000 to $500,000. Well, dang, what kind of building do you have to get a $500,000 loan? But guess what? I sure did file it. I said, yeah, we're not at our office. We sure ain't. We need emergency money. Shantae said, I'm not even spending 100. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're going to get to a point in certain parts of your business where it's just paid advertising. Do you want to get rich for quick or rich for sure? And rich for sure is if you're really honest with yourself, every company that gets to a certain size and is a legit company pays for consistent marketing. They just do. That's just the name of the business. The way we look at social media, we think, well, if I just go viral like Gorilla Glue Girl, everything will be great. That's not going to happen. So do you want to get rich for quick or rich for sure? Rex G, I don't give a damn about dump trucks. They cool to look at, but I don't care about them. So I hope you find a page that talks about dump trucks because I'm just not one of them. I don't have any. I don't have any, and it's not a focus of my business. There's a guy I went to a mastermind with. He has a bunch of them in Maryland. That's it. I bet Navy Fed did because there's a lot of veterans that were tourists out there. So, but that's basically what I have for you guys. Again, the website is always, you can go check it out. It's called bizbuysell.com. I'm always looking on here for opportunities that make sense for me. And because if you own 2 or 3 of these gas stations, if you ever meet some of these people, man, they don't do nothing. They like, it's on autopilot. You can always find, and I'm gonna be careful when I say this, but you can always find a man that you can pay 50 to 75,000 a year, and he be the manager. He be the manager, and he'll be like, "Yep, I'm gonna manage the mess out of this." You know what I'm saying? So don't get discouraged. Like, oh man, I gotta be there every day for this business. Some of them, yes, but there's always, like, just the way our society is, especially when I'm here in Texas, even in North Carolina. There's always a guy. If you train him up and he's like the boss without being the boss, there's always a guy. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I found that to be true. There's always a guy, and if it's a woman kind of based business, there's always some mom. Maybe she's a single mom, and she's like the manager of this place for like 20 years. I've seen that happen a lot too. So you'll always find a manager. Don't think. Tam, when am I picking a winner? Tam, I am probably gonna just go in there and pick 2. Was it 1 or 2 people today? Just gonna get and pick them and write under their name and tell them to email us today. So, but anybody, hey, this is your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog. Thank you for being here. You'll see more information on zombie businesses. I'll post some more videos in the community tab about zombie businesses and what you'll see coming in the next couple of months. Because we're gonna see a lot come out of this, especially with PPP. You're gonna have a lot of people just crutching along, and honestly, the pride of folks, they rather hobble along in a half broke business than not. So, all right, everybody, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb blog. You guys have a great night.